Hi everybody, Maureen Chirco here. As many of you probably know, I am a caregiver for people at the end of life, and I have some things that I've discovered on this journey of being with people during their end of life that I would like to share with you. Don't worry, it's not morbid or anything, it's just something that I feel like really needs to be discussed and needs to be out there. So most of the time when I'm with people at the end of their life, there's a lot of things going on, as you can just imagine, a lot of emotions. The grief has started setting in at the reality of the fact that there is something happening to somebody's loved one, and that it's probably going to be happening pretty soon. So what I've noticed and witnessed through many of these situations is that there's always slightly a panic on what to do, where the papers are, who's supposed to be called, what's the next steps, what has to be done. And I've seen people really ripped apart by this. I've seen people that have been asked questions by the hospice nurse like, does your loved one want this, or does your loved one want that? And even though the person might have just talked to their loved one 2 days before and made sure that this is how they want it to be done, sometimes that gets lost in everything that is going on. It's very hard to make decisions, very hard to remember things. It's very hard to know where everything is when things are distressed in this way. So just a quick story, and most of you that know me know that I lost my sister last year, and probably 9 months before she passed away, when she kind of knew that the reality of the fact is that she wasn't gonna beat this disease, she kept telling all of the rest of us, and we live in a big family, that she had everything done. Everything was taken care of. Everything was written down, and all of the plans were made. All of her wishes were known, and everything was done. Unfortunately, we never asked her to see any of that. And even though I'm sure that every one of her wishes were followed and everything was done, the fact that we didn't know about certain things, or we weren't sure if that was what she really wanted, made sometimes for an uneasy situation during the last couple days when she was still alive. We didn't know. She had written out a very specific plan about what she wanted in the case of pain, and unfortunately there was no paper to show the hospice house what exactly her wishes were on that. And she was very frustrated about that because she was in the process of dying. It wasn't like she wanted to talk about where her papers were. There was other things that she was focusing on, and this is what happens a lot of the times. And I'm sure that every one of you has known or seen somebody that has lost somebody either very quickly and they didn't know what to do next, or somebody that was in a situation where it took them months or sometimes even years from their life putting the puzzles together of their loved one's life so that they could continue the business in hand and what needed to be taken care of. So in light of all of this, you know that I do help people put together their advanced medical directives. And through this process, I realized that many people don't have all of their important papers together, and it's very difficult to put these pieces together. So I have seen, I've asked people that I know, if your husband, died, or if you died, suddenly, would your husband know where everything was that needed to be finalized and done and kept on, or does he know where it all is? And I'll just say this, my one friend, and she probably knows who I'm talking about, said, well, there's that cabinet in that room that there's some things in. Then there's the desk in that room that there's some things in. And then there's the file cabinet downstairs in the basement. And I said, okay, but if he had to find something, really quick, would he have to go through all three of those places to know and to find where it was? And she was like, yeah, he would. And so those are the things, that you're trying to avoid. We all have a system. We all have a system that we keep our files in. We all have a system. Some people have a really good system, and some people have kind of a loose system. So what I've developed is a book, and the book is called The Book of How to Do My Life If I Am Unable to. And so what it is that it's an organizer for you, and it's an eventual roadmap for your loved ones. It's an estate planning tool, and it's a home organization tool. So everything in this book can be used throughout the rest of your life, but because it's all in one place, you'll have everything in one place, so that when your loved one does have to go and find out how to do your life, they have a roadmap on which they can go. So who needs this? Who needs this type of a guide? First of all, I feel like that everybody over the age of 18 needs this. There's a lot of people that unfortunately die early. We all don't live to be in old age. And when somebody dies, like even in their 20s, there's sometimes no direction of what they have to do. I have 2 sons, and of course they have my guide, so now I know what to do. But if I would have had to just go in either one of their houses, if something were to happen to them and they had an untimely death, or they were incapacitated to the point where they couldn't speak for themselves, I would probably have a very difficult time putting the pieces of their life together, because they don't really tell me every detail about their life. You know what I mean? So I really feel like anybody over the age of 18 needs this. Our parents need this. We as parents need to do this. I think that it's a great gift to give newlyweds, because I think that if they start their life together, making sure that everything is put in this one place, they've done half the battle. I think divorcees need it. Single parents absolutely need it. People who live alone, retirees, empty nesters, people that are downsizing, and that one person that of almost in every household who takes care of everything, and their loved ones would be totally lost without them. One go-to person. I mean, in my family, we had 7 of us. I have 6 siblings. Well, now I have 5, and we had one person, that was the go-to person about everything. And so if something would have happened, that was the one person that knew everything. That person needs a system like this too. So I am just talking about it, today, so that it can give you a good indication of what it's like. I have it available in a binder. I don't know if you can see this. This is kind of a fancy one. It's available in a binder. Of course, there is nothing on the front of it that indicates what it has, and you want to keep it like that. You don't really want to have a big thing that says this is where all of my important information is. The book it's actually like 76 pages, and it keeps all your files in one place. And it's the navigation tool that your loved ones will someday need. Now, does that mean that you keep all of your bills in there, that you keep no, this is just a guide that tells you where those bills are. It's a guide that tells you you won't be keeping your real marriage certificate or marriage license in there, but it's a tool that tells where the location of that is. You won't be keeping all your tax returns in this book, but you will have a location listed in there of where those tax returns are. You won't keep your will in there. You can keep a copy of it, but the main will you will not keep in there. You will put in there the location of where that will is. Your advanced care plan, which is your living will, which is your wishes of what you want done while you're still alive, if you can't speak for yourself, shouldn't be in there. A copy of it should be in there, but the other part, it needs to be notarized and put in a safe place. But the location of that is what is in this guide. So this guide includes your wishes for your life and for what's going to happen to you after you leave this world. It has information about you in your past. You'd be surprised at how many things other people don't know about your life that would be important for them to know. Things like, what were your previous addresses? I mean, my kids don't even know my previous addresses before they lived with me. I don't think we've ever even discussed that, but it could come up and they might need it. Copies of marriage licenses, divorce decrees, all of those, need to be specific about where the location of those are. The passwords. When I just think about my passwords, I will have to admit that before I had this book, I had passwords probably in 18 different locations, and I am not kidding. I knew where they were, and I knew that if I needed one, I know where that one is. I sometimes let the computer handle the passwords, but it doesn't have all of them. And so it's like, can you imagine my poor husband or my kids having to go around just trying to find my passwords? A digital account information. It's different than it was 20 years ago. Our digital information, we have so much more digital information. I mean, I have an Audible account. Does anybody know that? Does anybody know how to access that? Does anybody want to keep that? Well, guess what? It's going to keep getting charged on my credit card if somebody doesn't cancel it. I've probably over the last, 10 years, probably developed, 10 different websites, and all of them are still going. Does anybody know what the passwords is? Does anybody know how to get in them? Does anybody know how to do anything? All of that information is important. And because we have such a big digital age, we tend to not write those things down. Subscription information. I probably have about 10 subscriptions. No, not to magazines, not to the newspaper, but I do to Netflix. I do to Amazon Prime. I have got subscriptions for certain vitamins that come every month. Does anybody know about it? Because I don't even know if my husband is aware of that. So all of these things are things that are kept in this book, and the information is kept in this book. If you just thought about your life on a daily basis and you just took your life every 1 week out of your life and made a journal of everything that you did in that day. I called this place because I had to handle this. I had 2 bills that came out of my automatic payments. I had 2 bills that I had to make the payments on. If you really made a list of everything that you do in one day and did that for a whole week, so it maybe cover everything, you would see that this is what your loved one has to do if there were something that were to happen to you. So I encourage you, even if you don't want to buy the book, to make sure that you keep a journal and just be aware of what somebody is going to need to do should you not be able to anymore. I do think about this. So baby books, there were 7 of us. And I remember growing up seeing that the first child that was born into our family, the baby book was filled out into the entirety. The second baby, maybe half of the book. I was the third one. I had maybe a couple pages. By the time we got to baby number 7, the baby book was completely empty. It's like none of this information matters if it's just a book that is going to sit on your shelf. So I know that the hardest part of all of this is getting it filled out. So that's why, because I help people do this, that's why I decided to do something that nobody else does that offers these kind of books. And that is to anybody that is registered to have this book. So let's say you buy this book for your 2 sons and you give it to them as a gift. You would have them register the book with us after you give it to them. You just do it by email. And everybody who is registered for the book will get timely emails or texts, whichever they decide to do at the time of registration, in a timely manner saying, hey, and I'm just using this as an example, maybe section 3 in the book is easier to fill out first than section 1. So take the time, put something on your schedule this month that you're going to take 3 hours out of your schedule and you're going to fill out section 3. And then I'll give hints about section 3. Oh, by the way, number 5 on section 3 has already been filled out in the front flap. So your information is already there. Just you can put on that line information in the front flap. Or you can say refer to page 1, 2, or 3. But I will be giving tips about that so that it makes it easier for people to fill it out. The other thing is that I do have videos for each chapter of the book, for each section of the book. And in the video are helpful tips, what you're probably going to run into while you're filling out that section, what can make it easier, and encouragement to actually fill it out. So I have it available. Like I showed you, it's in the hardback binder. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't do books. I don't have anything with books. This book has its purpose. And one of the purposes of it is that it's a binder. You can take pieces out of it, go somewhere else to fill it out. Meaning if the paperwork that you're filling out is in the next room, you can take that paper. You can take the other paper and to your husband and say, hey, let's fill this out together. Some things do have to be filled out together. Or like if you're like me and you have passwords in 18 different places, you go to those 18 different places to compile all your passwords. Also, this is an easy access. So if somebody needed to find out this information quickly about you, they would be able to just grab the book, look under the index, and find it immediately. But I also have it on a digital copy. If you buy the digital copy is has fillable forms, so you can fill it out on your computer. If you want to, you can print the whole thing out, but it probably wouldn't, whatever way you want to do it. But it can be filled out on your computer, that it's fillable lines. But I don't think that it should be kept on your computer. There's things that happen with computers. Computers get hacked. Sometimes your files can be freezed out. And this is important information. This is very important information that you really don't want anybody else to have access to. So with each digital copy that is purchased, you will receive in the mail a thumb drive to, after you fill it out, or as you go page per page, you can download it on your thumb drive and just have your thumb drive in a place that somebody close to you will know where it is. Same thing as if you have somebody that needs to know where the book is. So I have it available in those 2 ways, that either the binder is $60 and the digital copy is $40. And like I said, you will be sent a thumb drive included in that price. And it is a great gift, to give to people, because gifts, I think, are great when it's something that you yourself wouldn't purchase. and this is probably not something that somebody's going to go out and look for to purchase. They're going to say, oh, that's a really good idea. And so that's why I think it makes the perfect gift. It's not like scary death part. There is a section in there that is about your funeral and your wishes upon your funeral. However, that's the only part. Otherwise, it's just a home organization system until somebody needs to use it for your final wishes. So you can go to this page, www.goinpeacedoulaservices.com/get the book. And you can purchase it on the website. If you have any questions at all, I will leave my email address in the comments below on this YouTube video, and you can contact me. I really think that it's important that we not leave this world with our loved ones having to put the pieces together of our lives just in order to finalize things or to know what it is that you wanted. I see this happen every day. I will tell you that the people that have their affairs in order seem to be more at peace when they die, and I can totally understand why. But other than that, accidents happen. As you all know, somebody that died early, and to have to go through all of their things to figure out where everything is not something that you would ever want somebody to have to do. So this book is a wonderful navigation tool of your life, and everything will be kept in one place with the reminders given, and even the reminders once a year of, hey, go through your book and make any changes that need to be made. Once the book is filled out, you'll find it's an invaluable tool. So here's to a perfect life and a perfect end of life. Thanks for listening.